Hey Griots, welcome to BAM, Exploring the Black Arts Movement. In this art experience, I will discuss the importance of accessible art, especially for activism. Art conveys complex ideas, provokes reactions, and fosters understanding beyond words, functioning as a universal language. Because of this, artwork is a very effective tool in activism. Art documents the problems and events occurring at the time. It is then mass produced for consumption through the media. This includes photography for newspapers and film for television broadcasts. The feelings of the masses were expressed in music, which was then played on the radio and performed, such as A Change Is Gonna Come by Sam Cooke, written in 1954. The consistent consumption of imagery and messaging then provokes reactions and fosters understanding of certain issues. It encourages people to take action, including protesting in the streets and advocating for or voting for certain political changes. AfriCOBRA, African Commune of Bad Relevant Artists, was an artist collective based out of Chicago. Their work defined the art style of the Black Arts Movement using Kool-Aid colors, bold typography, and uplifting images. Their strategy was to make art out of accessible objects, therefore making art accessible. It was then replicated for people to display in their homes and businesses to further share the message. Relate to your heritage. Barbara Jones-Hogu was a founding member of AfriCOBRA, in which her approach to image making reflects and projects the moods, attitudes, and sensibilities of African American self determination. Relate to Your Heritage, a color screen print created in 1971, combines the visual language of psychedelic posters with multiple fragments of African American female figures, constructing a cultural specific articulation of femininity and power. This artwork points to the importance of the feminine form in linking a collective mythic history to present day ownership of oneself and power. Draw what you see and what you know. Unite. This artwork shows a group of Black Americans making the recognizable Black Power salute, thus communicating an expressive humanism while depicting a fight for cultural liberation. Layered on top of the strong verticals of raised arms, the word unite appears repeatedly in striking block letters that fit together like pieces of a puzzle. These art pieces embody using familiar imagery to foster strong emotions about self love and inspire action and self determination. Emory Douglas. In 1967, Douglas met Huey P. Newton and Bobby Seale, two young activists from Oakland who months earlier had founded the Black Panther Party. Seeking to promote their civil rights agenda to primarily Black American audiences, the Panthers developed a newspaper, the first of which Seale created and published in April 1967. Douglas's familiarity with the print production process was a fruitful asset as he employed simple tools like markers, rub off type, and prefabricated texture materials to create his visually impactful designs. To keep costs low, each paper was printed in one or two colors black ink, often with a contrasting bright color. His illustrations shone a spotlight on state sanctioned brutality, depicting law enforcement officers and politicians as pigs, while also portraying Black people bearing arms and defeating their oppressors. Malcolm X speaks for us. Elizabeth Catlett has said that the purpose of her art is to present Black people in their beauty and dignity for ourselves and others to understand and enjoy. As a sculptor and printmaker, she blends figurative and abstract traditions with social concerns and has maintained a deep belief in the democratic power of printed art to reach large audiences. This image depicts people of different colors layered on top of each other, looking in different directions, symbolizing different walks of life. To the right is a stoic image of civil rights leader Malcolm X. Negro es bello, too. This is a lithographic print juxtaposing two Black faces stylized as African masks. The face in the top left quadrant is facing to our right, looking past the point of capture, and it does depict subtle signs of distress. The face in the bottom right quadrant is facing forward. These images are framed by yellow circular emblems with a panther, with a Black Panther in the center. The words Black is beautiful are inscribed around each panther. By the way, let me know in the comments if you would like a future experience about the various art processes I discuss. I'm Cheyenne Yvette, visual artist and art director of the Cheyenne Yvette Art and Culture Archive. My primary mediums are printmaking and photography. Through my artwork, I explore Black identity from different cultural reference points by implementing layered storytelling through flat design. I graduated from Lincoln University with a bachelor in visual arts with a minor in strategic communications. I later matriculated from the Maryland Institute College of Art with a Master of Professional Studies in the Business of Art and Design. I have shown my artwork in multiple cities across the country, including New York, Philadelphia, Chicago, and the Raleigh area where I live and work. I completed the following artwork from 2016 to 2017 during my senior capstone at Lincoln University. This is Africa. This is a screen print layered with the background designed in Adobe software. The background depicts warm, muted colors of Adinkra symbols. These symbols remind people of the specific proverbs and ideas with special meanings such as love, patience, femininity, and strength. The next layer is a bold Black image of a woman, hair braided and styled in a hair wrap. Her hair and head combined form the shape of Africa. Strong Black woman. Inspired by Elizabeth Catlett's Negro es Bello 2, Strong Black Woman is another mixed media print juxtaposing two Black faces stylized as theater masks framed by Kool-Aid color circular emblems, narrating a poem about the expectation of Black women to remain calm, cool, and collected, even though they may be feeling immense emotional pain. This piece was deeply inspired by Beyonce's Lemonade album and the book Sister Citizen, Shame, Stereotypes, and Black Women in America by Melissa Harris Perry. Fast forward to 2020, during the protests that began as reactions to the murder of George Floyd, a 46-year-old unarmed African American man, by Minneapolis police during an arrest. During this time, I felt guilty about not wanting to join the protests, especially since this was during the same time as a global pandemic, and I lived with my grandmother, who was vulnerable to the disease. This added to my depression, especially being that I was deeply inspired by the Black Arts movement in college and had focused my creative energy to community based organizations as I started my career. I didn't know what to say. I didn't have any images or the words. I was in shock. The constant consumption of imagery about the excessive use of force by the police became overwhelming. I became desensitized and then mentally withdrawn. It wasn't until later that it clicked. It's not the artist's job to protest in the streets. It is the artist's job to document the times. How can I do that when I am desensitized and withdrawn because of the mounting financial and emotional stress I was experiencing, plus the constant consumption of death by illness and excessive force by the police? This caused a lot of grief, so I drew what I know. I completed a self portrait titled Self. My hair might be my favorite aspect of myself. I love it because while it's not the most socially acceptable, for the most part, I always look good. Because of the density and texture, I can try different hairstyles with minimal damage. My hair might have been my first medium. My mom would braid my hair and I would put on the beads. I love trying different hairstyles, and it is the first thing I do when I feel like I need to pick myself up. So, of course, at a time when I was very depressed, that I couldn't create anything, I drew my hair straight from a picture in my phone. Simple. In my upcoming work, I discuss what I know, which is cosmetics, and how I use cosmetics and rituals to build a rhythm of living intentionally. This led me to have the desire to create again. My mission is to educate and express diverse Black American perspectives through art and experiences. Art conveys complex ideas, provokes reactions, and fosters understanding beyond words, functioning as a universal language. By examining art, you can learn about the beliefs and practices of certain cultures. Archiving is important for preserving cultures and preventing the erasure of lived experiences. Through this archive, I make art accessible for the masses to experience, expressing diverse perspectives through storytelling across different media.